The sun rose, illuminating the forest with golden light, where disciples had gathered beneath the Bodhi tree. Among them sat Ananda, a monk whose troubled heart mirrored the forest's sorrowful song. He looked at the Buddha, his eyes filled with uncertainty and despair. "Master, our world suffers deeply. We see decay everywhere," Ananda said, his voice trembling like a leaf. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, listened quietly, his presence calm as the stillness of the morning air. "Ananda, the pain you see outside is but a reflection of humanity's unrest within," the Buddha spoke gently. "Each withered leaf is a mirror. Each parched stream tells a tale of our collective ignorance." He paused briefly, allowing the disciples to absorb the profound weight of his words. The ancient Bodhi tree stood above them, its roots entwined with Earth's unseen history. Understand this truth: harm inflicted upon the earth is harm inflicted upon ourselves. Ananda sat silently, absorbing the words as if they were raindrops falling into a thirsty well. The disciples closed their eyes, their breathing steady, their spirits seeking the balm of wisdom. "We must recognize the deep interconnectedness of all existence," the Buddha continued, his voice resonating like the wind through the leaves. "Compassion flows outward, touching lives the way roots nourish the towering trees above." He gestured toward the forest canopy, pointing at its vibrant colors still alive despite the growing distress. "Just as the forest is a web of connections, so too are you interconnected with all life," he said. Ananda asked, "Master, how can we awaken humanity from ignorance? How can we guide them to care for this earth?" "The answer lies within the practice of mindfulness," the Buddha said, his words deliberate and gentle. "Begin by observing the earth not as a resource, but as an extension of yourself." Ananda frowned, asking, "What does such practice entail? Master, how do we begin this path in simplicity?" The Buddha smiled, his expression calm like the rivers untouched by greed's grasp. "Step into the forest and listen to its heart, which echoes the truth of life's impermanence," he replied. "Become aware of your footsteps. Tread lightly upon the soil, which gives but does not ask." He gestured toward a nearby bird, its song weaving through the morning air, its simplicity free from excess. Live as the bird lives, taking what is needed and leaving the rest for others. The disciples nodded, their spirits resonating with clarity as his teachings unfolded. The Buddha placed his hand upon the earth's damp soil, feeling its warmth. "Respect the earth's fragility, for it mirrors your own vulnerabilities," he said with emphasis. "Be mindful of the resources you consume. Simplicity brings peace, excess invites suffering." A breeze brushed gently through the forest, carrying the scent of leaves mingled with sunlight. Ananda, encouraged by his master's wisdom, asked, "Will the earth's wounds ever heal, Master?" The Buddha's gaze turned toward the horizon, where light met the shadows of distant mountains. "The earth, like humanity, possesses great resilience and capacity for renewal," he began. "Healing comes when harmony replaces greed and awareness replaces ignorance." Another disciple spoke, his voice hesitant but eager. "Master, how can we inspire change among those who do not hear the earth's cries?" The Buddha closed his eyes briefly, and the silence deepened around them. "Teach by example. Let your actions become seeds of compassion," he replied steadily. "A single act of mindfulness can ripple outward, influencing countless lives along its path." The disciples pondered this insight, their thoughts converging like streams flowing toward the ocean. The Buddha observed their faces, each one carrying its own struggle with understanding. "Allow this truth to settle within you: interconnectedness cannot be undone, and every effort matters," he said. "Small acts bring great transformation. The balance begins with the individual's choice." The forest rustled with sounds of life. Birds fluttered, insects buzzed, and leaves swayed in unison. The Buddha looked at the golden rays piercing through the canopy, illuminating the soft moss beneath his feet. As the sun reaches all corners of the forest, so must your compassion extend to every living being, he declared. Ananda found himself contemplating a tree nearby whose leaves turned brown, their edges brittle under the weight of exhaustion. Does this tree suffer because of our negligence, Master? Ananda asked, his voice cautious but determined. The Buddha touched the tree, its bark rough yet warm, as if communicating the earth's unspoken grief. This tree is a teacher, he replied. Its suffering reminds us to awaken, to live with humility and gratitude. The disciples felt inspired, their spirits reignited with purpose, their resolve strengthened by their master's words. The Buddha continued, each moment you awaken compassion within, the earth begins its healing journey. Ananda knelt beside the tree, sensing the silent wisdom embedded in its roots. Master, will humanity heed these teachings? Will they see the earth as you do? The Buddha's smile carried both sorrow and hope, a balance born of wisdom transcending lifetimes. Humanity's awakening may take time, Ananda, he said, but the seeds of change must be planted now. A disciple asked, and what of those whose hearts remain closed, their eyes blind to nature's suffering? The Buddha looked at the disciple, his gaze steady and warm like a gentle flame. Let your compassion remain undeterred. Even the hardest stone can be shaped by the softest drop of water. The disciples bowed their heads, their spirits charged with purpose and clarity. Master, your words guide us, but we still feel the weight of uncertainty, Ananda said earnestly. Uncertainty is the threshold of wisdom, the Buddha replied gently. Trust the process, and remember that the path itself is the destination. The morning unfolded as sunlight bathed the forest, cascading down upon roots deeply entrenched within the earth. The disciples stood, their hearts heavier but their steps lighter, prepared to carry the Buddha's teachings into the world. The Buddha gazed once more at the forest, his eyes reflecting its ancient beauty and its enduring struggle for balance. His voice resonated, wrapping around each disciple like the gentle embrace of wind meeting skin. To heal the earth, you must heal your hearts first, he concluded. Let compassion lead, and the world shall find peace. The disciples departed, each step echoing the lessons etched into their souls by the Master's timeless words. Ananda followed, his heart illuminated, sensing the interconnected threads binding the forest's sorrow to humanity's awakening. Another day, another journey. The Buddha and his disciples found themselves wandering through the vast expanse of an arid desert. The golden sands stretched endlessly, shimmering beneath the intense sun, while the air quivered with relentless heat. Among the travelers was Ananda, whose thoughts weighed heavily, as dry as the land beneath his feet. Master, Ananda began, his voice parched yet earnest. This land seems barren, lifeless. How can one find wisdom amidst such desolation? The Buddha paused, his gaze sweeping across the dunes, and his calm presence contrasted with the desert's overwhelming vastness. Ananda, the desert whispers truths that are often drowned in the clamor of abundance, he said, his tone steady. The disciples gathered closer, shielding themselves from the sun with their robes as they listened attentively. In scarcity lies the clarity of life's true essence. Unmasked by excess, the Buddha continued, gesturing toward the shifting sands. These sands may seem lifeless, but they too carry the essence of being. Shaped by time and patience, as they walked further, they encountered a merchant, whose caravan was laden with trinkets and treasures but devoid of water. The merchant approached the Buddha, his face marked by desperation and weariness from the unrelenting journey. Great sage, the merchant pleaded, his voice trembling, we thirst, but the desert offers nothing. The people back home await our return. The Buddha rested a hand on the merchant's shoulder, his touch light yet grounding, like a cool breeze amidst heat. Merchant, The desert speaks not of nothingness but of balance, he said. His words deliberate and profound. Your treasures weigh heavily, yet they cannot quench thirst or nourish the soul. What truly sustains life? The merchant bowed his head, struggling to answer, his mind tangled between the value of his wares and the starkness of survival. The Buddha turned to his disciples, his eyes unwavering as he addressed their collective conscience. This land teaches us to cherish what is often overlooked. The drop of water, the patch of shade, he said. Ananda asked, Master, if the desert holds such wisdom, why does it feel so inhospitable and indifferent to life? The Buddha smiled faintly, his expression imbued with both sorrow and understanding, as he sat upon the warm sand. The desert, like life, is impartial, he replied. Its harshness is not cruelty but a reflection of impermanence, a lesson in resilience. He drew a circle in the sand with his finger, its shape soon swept away by the gentle desert wind. See how the wind erases what I have drawn. Yet the sand remains, he explained. Cling not to the temporary. Embrace the enduring essence of existence. The disciples murmured in reflection, their thoughts as scattered as the grains beneath their feet. The merchant, still burdened by the urgency of his plight, asked, But how can one live without taking more than the land offers? The Buddha regarded the merchant with compassion, his voice softening but remaining resolute. Restraint is the key, he said. The less you take, the more you give space for balance to return. A disciple spoke up, his voice carrying curiosity mingled with concern. Master, what of those who exploit the land without consideration? Whose actions strip the earth bare? The Buddha turned to the disciple, his expression calm yet firm, like a still pond reflecting the vast sky above. Do not let your compassion waver, even in the face of others' ignorance, he said. Lead by example, for actions resonate more deeply than words. The disciples nodded, their hearts stirred by the weight of the teachings unfolding amid the desert's silent witness. Understand that the earth is neither cruel nor kind but mirrors the intentions of those who tread upon it. The Buddha continued, when greed blinds the mind, the land suffers. When wisdom guides, harmony prevails. Ananda knelt to trace the sand, observing its fineness, its texture carrying the memory of endless cycles of creation. Master, can the scars we've inflicted upon this land ever be healed? He asked, his voice tinged with both hope and doubt. The Buddha gazed into the distance, where the dunes met the cerulean sky in an eternal embrace. The land, like the heart, has an immense capacity for renewal, he said. But healing begins with understanding and responsibility. The merchant, humbled by the exchange, unfastened a small pouch of water from his waist and shared it among his weary caravan. Master, I see now the weight of my treasures pales before the value of what sustains life, he admitted. The Buddha offered a nod of approval, his countenance as serene as the stillness of twilight after a scorching day. You begin to understand, merchant. True wealth lies not in accumulation but in sustenance and balance. As the group continued their journey, they came upon a lone desert flower, its delicate petals reaching for the sun despite its harsh surroundings. The disciples marveled at the flower's resilience, its existence a testament to life's tenacity against adversity. The Buddha knelt beside it, his fingers brushing lightly against its fragile beauty. This flower teaches us the same lesson as the desert, he said. Even in the harshest conditions, life finds a way to thrive. Ananda asked, Master, how do we nurture such resilience in ourselves and others? The Buddha looked up, his gaze steady like the eternal horizon, and spoke with gentle conviction. Resilience grows from a heart anchored in compassion and a mind free from fear. The disciples and the merchant absorbed his words, their hearts lightened by the flower's quiet strength and wisdom. Let this desert be your teacher, your guide, And your mirror, the Buddha concluded. Through its silence, it speaks truths that cannot be ignored. The sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the dunes. As the group found rest in the shade of a solitary rock, the Buddha sat in meditation, his presence a calming beacon amidst the vastness of the desert's mysteries. The disciples followed suit, their breathing synchronizing with the rhythm of the wind, their minds attuned to the lessons carried by the sands. The merchant, no longer burdened by his treasures, felt a newfound clarity and lightness within his soul. As night fell, the desert unveiled a tapestry of stars above, their light a reminder of interconnectedness transcending time and space. The disciples gazed upward, their hearts touched by awe and humility. Their bond with the earth and cosmos deepened. The Buddha spoke once more, his voice blending with the symphony of the night. The desert is not separate from you, he said. Its essence flows through your being, as your actions shape its future. The disciples bowed their heads, their spirits emboldened, ready to carry the wisdom of the desert into the world. Ananda whispered softly, his words carried by the night breeze. Master, the desert is vast, but your teachings fill its emptiness with meaning. The Buddha smiled faintly, his eyes reflecting the starlight, his presence timeless as the cosmos themselves. Then let us carry this meaning with us, wherever the journey leads, he replied. And so, beneath the boundless sky, they rested, their hearts and minds awakened by the desert's eternal whisper. Another day, another journey. The Buddha and his disciples reached the ocean's edge, where waves crashed rhythmically against rocky shores. The air carried the scent of salt, mingled with sorrow, as the disciples gazed upon polluted waters. Ananda's heart weighed heavily, his gaze fixed on the debris scattered along the shoreline, tainting its once pristine beauty. Master, Ananda said, his voice tremulous, the ocean weeps, its bounty dwindles, and its tears are poisoned by humanity's actions. The Buddha stood silently, his presence calm amidst the ocean's turmoil. Before speaking with gentle clarity, Ananda, the ocean's mourning reflects humanity's ignorance, which has blinded hearts to the interconnectedness sustaining all life, he said. The disciples gathered closer, their hearts seeking solace from the Master's wisdom. As the waves continued their restless dance, the ocean teaches us impermanence through its tides, which rise and fall, ever constant in their transient nature. The Buddha continued. He knelt to touch the water, its coolness dissolving into his hand like fleeting moments. Each drop of water carries life's essence, fragile yet powerful, demanding respect and care from those it sustains, he said. Ananda asked, Master, how can we restore the ocean's health? Its suffering feels overwhelming, beyond our capacity to heal. The Buddha turned his gaze toward the horizon, where sky met sea in a boundless embrace. Healing begins with humility and awareness, the Buddha replied, his voice steady as the waves. Honor the ocean's gifts without exploiting its depths. The disciples listened intently, their hearts and minds striving to comprehend the weight of the teachings unfolding. A fisherman approached them, his net empty and his face etched with despair. Great sage, the fisherman said, his voice tinged with desperation. The waters no longer yield their treasures. Our families face hunger and hardship. The Buddha regarded the fisherman with compassion, his presence steady like the cliffs resisting the tide's erosive force. Fisherman, the ocean's suffering is not a punishment but a lesson, he said. It calls humanity to awaken, to reflect deeply on the consequences of their choices and actions. The Buddha continued. He gestured toward the discarded nets and trash scattered along the shoreline. Remnants of negligence. Purify your intentions. Let compassion guide your actions toward harmony, not domination, he said. Ananda knelt beside the ocean, his reflection rippling across its surface as he contemplated its endless depths. Master, what does harmony with the ocean look like? How can humanity achieve such balance? He asked. The Buddha smiled faintly, his expression imbued with both hope and sorrow. As he addressed the question, harmony lies in understanding the interconnectedness between all living beings and the earth's elements, the Buddha explained. Respect and nurture this balance. A disciple asked, Master, how can we inspire others to see the ocean as sacred, not merely as a resource to exploit? The Buddha's gaze rested gently upon the disciple, his voice calm. Teach through your actions, which ripple outward like waves, he replied. Let each choice you make reflect mindful stewardship. The fisherman lowered his head, absorbing the wisdom with a heart heavy yet ready to change. Master, is there hope for these waters to heal? He asked, his voice filled with cautious optimism. The ocean possesses immense resilience, just as humanity does, the Buddha said, his words resonating like the wave's rhythmic pulse. Healing comes from genuine care and collective effort. The disciples pondered the teachings, their thoughts converging like tributaries flowing into the ocean's boundless embrace. The sun began its descent, casting golden light upon the waters, illuminating both its beauty and its scars. Ananda stood, his gaze fixed on the horizon, his heart yearning for a path forward. Master, if future generations inherit these polluted waters, how can they hope to thrive? He asked earnestly. Teach them to tread lightly upon this earth, to honor its fragility and strength, the Buddha said. Let wisdom guide them. The disciples vowed silently to carry this wisdom forward, their resolve strengthened by the ocean's quiet plea for healing. The fisherman, humbled and inspired, resolved to fish sustainably, respecting the water's limitations. The Buddha continued to speak, his words flowing like the tides, carrying both gentle compassion and firm conviction. Each act of respect toward the ocean is an act of respect toward life itself, he said. Begin today. A disciple gestured toward the horizon, where distant boats ventured across the waves under the setting sun. Master, what should we tell those who depend on the ocean's bounty yet harm its balance in their pursuit? The disciple asked. The Buddha closed his eyes briefly, his presence imbued with both sorrow and understanding. Balance need not mean deprivation, he replied. Act with mindfulness. The ocean will respond in kind. The group found respite near the rocky cliffs, their thoughts blending with the sounds of the waves and the cries of seagulls. Ananda approached the fisherman, offering words of encouragement inspired by the Buddha's teachings. Your respect for the ocean's gifts will inspire others to care for these waters, Ananda said. The fisherman nodded, his spirit lighter despite the burdens of his livelihood, ready to embody the change the ocean needed. The disciples meditated near the shoreline, their breaths syncing with the waves' rhythmic rise and fall, absorbing the ocean's timeless wisdom. The Buddha stood silently, gazing toward the stars that began to emerge above. The ocean mirrors the cosmos, infinite and interconnected, reminding humanity of their place within the vast tapestry of existence, he said. The disciples felt the enormity of this truth, their hearts humbled and enlightened, ready to carry the ocean's lessons into their lives. Ananda whispered softly, his words carried by the ocean breeze, Master, the ocean mourns today, but your teachings offer hope for a brighter tomorrow, he said. The Buddha's smile reflected the light of the stars, his presence as enduring as the tides that shape the earth's shores. Then let us tread lightly and live wisely, he replied, so the ocean may sing once more. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.